This video makes a serious question about how the bias media is still working with Obama and the Socialist Democrats in their plans to put down President Donald Trump. Recently, NBC News had an interview with President Trump, during which the anchor constantly cut off President Trump as he tried answering the questions that were asked.
I was going to fire Comey. There's no good time to do it, by the way.
Because in your letter you said I accepted their recommendation. Yeah, well, you had already made the decision.
I was going to fire regardless of recommendation.
So there was
he made a recommendation. He's highly respected, very good guy, very smart guy. The Democrats like him, the Republicans like him. He made a recommendation, but regardless of recommendation, I was going to fire Comey, knowing there was no good time to do it. And in fact, when I decided to just do it, I said to myself, I said, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story. It's an excuse by the Democrats for having lost an election that they should have won. And the reason they should have won it is the Electoral College is almost impossible for a Republican to win. Very hard, because you start off at such a disadvantage. So everybody was thinking they should have won the election. This was an excuse for having lost an election.
But are you angry with Mr. Comey because of his Russia investigation?
I just want somebody that's competent. I am a big fan of the FBI. I love the FBI.
But were you a fan of him taking up that investigation?
I think that about the Hillary Clinton investigation?
No, about the Russia investigation and possible links between...
Look, let me tell you. As far as I'm concerned, I want that thing to be absolutely done properly. When I did this now, I said, I probably, maybe will confuse people. Maybe I'll expand that, you know, I'll lengthen the time because it should be over with. It should, in my opinion, should have been over with a long time ago because all it is an excuse. But I said to myself, I might even lengthen out the investigation, but I have to do the right thing for the American people. He's the wrong man for that position.
Let me ask you about your termination.
When illegitimate President Obama was in office, this never happened by any of the media. Why? Because they love Obama first of all. Second, it is in respect to the office held that you show respect to the President of the United States, the highest ranking officer of the United States government. That isn't true now of President Donald Trump. The attitude in the media is that they cannot accept that America voted for him, so they don't show him the respect his office deserves. In retrospect to every other president who has served in office, the media disrespects President Donald Trump with a hatred that is more and more evident every single day it grows.
Said that there was in fact an FBI investigation looking at your campaign and Russia. Did that anger you? I asked that because there is this, there's a sense that there was a building anger here.
No. I know everyone.
Only one newsman ever showed this kind of deliberate and hateful show of aggression towards an American president, and that was Dan Rather. He deliberately cut off President George W. Bush before he even finished his statement on the CBS News. This has proven that the media is pro-left and non-conversative. They are not impartial towards both parties, as a news organization has always held as their top priority. Though Dan Rather was shown to be biased, they never fired him for this blatant act of harassment. You are seeing even more now being shown by the networks and cable outlets, specifically towards the conservative right. It is evident today that everything the blacks dislike is being either erased or condemned. Civil War monuments are being destroyed. Men who fought in the Civil War are being dug up from their resting places. No one has ever said what happened there remains. All of this by the leftist Democrats. Who speaks for these dead soldiers who are seen as refuge in the ground? Why isn't there an outcry of injustice for these men who died for their country? It is the attitude already brought up in this video. The leftist bias is being spread to all aspects of history in America. We all deserve to be treated like American citizens, but the socialist pigs known as Democrats won't have any part of respect for the dead and fallen from the Civil War. Only their erasure from American history. It is criminal to exhume anyone's body, especially if you don't rebury them again. The leftists aren't doing anything, most likely putting their bodies in pits and making mass graves like the Germans did to the Jews during the Nazi Holocaust. The media should be boycotted for reporting the news one-sided. They don't give creditable news because it isn't fair, non-bias. We have radio and newspaper as alternative options to get news, so let the networks give their crap to the leftists who are already laughing. Most people are too lazy to want real and impartial news. They want to be dependent on a picture tube that tells them what to do, how to do it, and that's all they want, controlling their opinions and actions. This is why the media continue the same put-downs on President Trump that they showed during the election. Every reporter said, he'll never be given the nomination. Then said, he'll never make it to the debates. Then they said, he's lost the election. The American public said otherwise, but that doesn't stop the media from harassing President Trump every single day.
From the Obama administration, the highest clearance you can have. And I think it's a very unfair thing that the media doesn't talk about that. You know, you're talking about 2015.
This kind of attacks against President Trump should be liable, and the networks should be sued for this kind of slander against the president. He deserves better than this kind of outright contempt being shown toward the highest ranking officer of this once great nation. Want proof it isn't a great nation? Look at the news every day. Fake news, harassing reporters, slanderous insinuations without proof. The Russian hacking is just what President Trump said, fake news. The Socialist Democrats can't accept they lost the election, so they make it more than it has been proven to be. False claims, and the news media has never been known to make these kinds of accusations against a president who did nothing wrong. In contrast, when illegitimate President Barack Hussein Obama ever did anything that was shown wrong, the media covered it up or ignored it entirely. They would imply through their statements that it was false information or that it wasn't true, and the public shouldn't take any of it seriously. When the United States paid Iran billions of dollars, supposedly for back payments, it was never explained for what, except that it was proven to be ransom for hostages that the Iranians released shortly thereafter. The news media never brought up that tie-in. Nor was Obama impeached for violating federal law. It is illegal for a president to pay ransom for any hostage held in a foreign country. Obama was never held accountable for that transaction, nor did the American taxpayer ever get it back. Whenever President Trump even goes to Florida, the media bashes him for going. They say he spends too much time in Florida. What do you think Obama did every single week? He went on a golf vacation at Martha's Vineyard. They never said anything about that, just gave a salute of appreciation for His Majesty and Grace as he walked to Air Force One and took off. President Donald Trump said after the inauguration, "I'm going to cut out these new Air Force One planes and get them cheaper." No wonder Obama wore them out flying back and forth to Martha's Vineyard every week. So the next time the leftist news media say something about President Trump's trips, remember Obama's vacation presidency. FBI Director Comey was fired because he showed total disregard for law against Hillary Clinton's email scandal. Illegitimate President Obama didn't even do anything about the outcome of that investigation. Clinton was told, "There's nothing to worry about. Comey will acquit you of any wrongdoing." Clinton herself was given a slap on the hand by Comey and left to continue her Clinton Foundation coffers, raking in millions of dollars every year, and not for non-charitable purposes. She was never fined or incarcerated for the crime she committed. During the election, smart Americans chanted "Lock her up." Obama's socialists never did. Nor was illegitimate President Obama for the crimes he committed against the United States government and its people when he paid ransom for hostages. The drug addicts just shun the whole subject, bury their heads in recreational marijuana and just go on their merry way to oblivion. It might be all just wasted breath, but someday you'll realize it happened right in front of your face and you did nothing about it. That will America's posterity.
Go, I say go away. You bother me.